Hi, I'm Ruth Ann Berry. I'd like to welcome you to my book tour through my new book, 3D Illusion Quilts from C&T Publishing. This is a follow-up to my book, Stunning 3D Quilts, with some new features this time around. The first one is step-by-step illustrations that show how the project drawings are created, along with some blank isometric graph paper so you can draw your own. The other is the long-awaited alternate assembly instructions that allow you to replace some of the individual triangles with long measured strips. So let's take a look at the quilts. This is Gnarly. First of all, the finished project size can be altered by changing the width of the strips that you start with. So for Gnarly, my sample here is made with 3-inch strips. It's 63 by 79. But if you start with 4-inch wide strips, you'll get a project that's 88 by 110. Next up is Night Song. My sample here is made with 3-inch strips. Is a 73 by 95 twin size project. If you start with 2.5-inch strips, you'll get a smaller project that's 58 by 76. This is Lattices. It's a continuous pattern, and you can change the finished size of it by just making more or less of the chart. If you make the whole chart, your finished project will be like the sample here. It's 70 by 93. The other option in the book is to make a project that is 40 by 64 just by using a portion of the chart. Next up is Escalator. It's another continuous pattern. It allows you to make as much or as little of the quilt as you want. This is the cover quilt for the book. So when you're looking for it on Amazon or on my website, quiltersclink.com, this is the picture that you're looking for. Size options in the book are 35 by 45. That's a nice wall hanging. Or you can make the project that is 65 by 85 that uses the entire chart. Here we have Huga. This is a large project with 3-inch strips. It finishes to 83 by 105. If you want it slightly smaller with 2.5-inch strips, you can get a project that's 66 by 84. This is one of the projects in the book that has the alternate assembly instructions and measurements so that you can replace some of the large gray areas with long measured strips instead of all triangles. This is Whale's Tail. Two size options in the book are 60 by 77 with 3-inch strips. That's my sample size here. If you use 4-inch strips, you'll get a project that's 84 by 108. Next up is Huckleberry. It's a smaller, more manageable project to start with. And a wall hanging, it's 40 by 46. That's with 3-inch strips. If you want a little bit larger throw, you can use 4-inch strips and get a project that's 56 by 64. Next up is Shenanigans. You can make this one 70 by 95 like my sample using 3-inch strips, or if you want a little bit smaller, you can make it 56 by 76 using 2.5-inch strips. This is Limerick. My sample is 75 by 83 using 3-inch strips, or you can make it 90 by 100 using 3.5-inch strips. Here we have our Peggio. My sample is 55 by 80 with 3-inch strips, or you can make it 77 by 112 by starting with 4-inch strips. Last up, we have Better Together. It's a bed runner, or you could use it as a table runner. My sample here is 88 wide by 36 tall. It's made with 3-inch strips. If you wanted it a little bit smaller, you could make it with 2.5-inch strips and get a 70 wide by 29-inch tall project.